Hi everyone, as I promised, I was going to do a review for the episode that was released on Saturday for My Hero Academia. It's episode 4, Make It Happen Shinso. And as you know, the last episode ended with a joint class training exam between both classes. They were divided into groups. And our first battle is it's class 1A to class 1B, but the group consists of, for class 1A, of Kaminari, Kirishima, Koda, Asui, and Shinso, and are facing against this group of class 1B, which is Shishido, Shiosaki, Rin, and Suburaba. Man, I have a little trouble remembering some of the names from class 1B. So the episode starts with Shinso explaining his quirk, and honestly I love that it took the time to explain this. I thought, please don't do this mistake. Oh, they just started the fight and not explain Shinso's quirk, because it's a pretty important quirk and a very unique one. Shinso explains that in order for his quirk, brainwashing, to work, he needs to focus on his target. And of course, he has to ask a question, but he has to make sure that this person answers the question, or else his quirk is not gonna work. And once they answer the question, they will move according to Shinso's demands. But of course, he also explains his limitations. One of them is, if the person that's brainwashed receives some kind of damage, they will shake off from the brainwashing. 2, Shinso doesn't believe it's very likely that he'll be able to brainwash multiple people, because he has to divide his focus on multiple targets, so he believes it's impossible. 3, he says that he cannot make the people he brainwashed do very difficult tasks. And I like that they added that little example from the manga with the brainwashed Deku telling him, write Asui's name. Of course, he's gonna write it down. But if he asks him, what is the girl's, the frog, with like the frog quirk? Of course, the brainwashed person is not gonna be able to do it. So in other words, his quirk doesn't allow him to do very difficult tasks that require thinking. Oh, and I almost forgot. He cannot make the brainwashed person talk. So then Shinso explains the device that he has, which is called persona cords. So this device allows him to change the tone of his voice in order to activate his quirk. So he kind of copies the voices of other people, because his quirk loses its effect if it goes into a microphone. And like I explained, I think that on my last video when I was reviewing a little bit of episodes 1 to 3. So I'm glad they added these limitations to Shinso's quirk, and they explain it like very accurately. So of course, the little bit announcement tells them that it's time to start the match. Unfortunately, they lose too much time when Shinso tries to explain how his quirk works, and of course they're ambushed very quickly. Man, I can't remember that guy's name. Suburaba, there you go, of course does a sneak attack, but Shinso's very quick to use his vocal cords to copy the voice to brainwash Shishida. It works, but unfortunately Suburaba is able to wake him up. He immediately traps Shinso, as he's a little too slow to respond to his attack, so he's trapped in his air prison. I love that they're adding even the heroes their ultimate moves. I thought it was like pretty cool. I'm like, God, that's so nice. Of course, the class 1A, they don't just stand there and look like dumbasses. Kaminari is able to shock Suburaba immediately, and Asui takes advantage of this and immediately traps him with her tongue. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention that. Also, Kaminari, I think, also shocks Shishida but he's able to recover pretty quickly because of his quirk, Beast, which allows him to like increase his power. Kirishima also he recovers and frees Koda, but unfortunately he's unable to do much. I think my memory is not bad. I think he's able to catch him and throws him to I think Shiosaki, and unfortunately Kirishima is captured. Oh, and also Shishida is able to capture Koda. So now class 1A, they lost 2 people already, while class 1B only lost 1 person. I love that they added that little part of Suburaba. He starts, he fangirls about being captured in Asui's tongue, and it's all blushing, fangirling. I love that they added that because I thought it was pretty hilarious in the manga. I was like, I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, come on, seriously? Eventually, Kaminari and Asui are able to freeze Shinso, and of course they have to come up with a new plan. One of the things I love pretty much about this episode is Black King narrating, acting as almost like yeah, he starts acting like President Mike, as narrating the whole matches and everything, but he's being a little biased. He's kind of rooting for his class. It's understandable, and I love that they added Mina commenting about against biased commentary with 2 of the other's classmates, Chiro and Ayoma, right there in the by saying against biased commentary. I love that they included those little details. It just makes the episode so much better. So let's get back on track. Shinso apologizes for losing to already 2 members of their team, and also for not being fast enough. Of course, Kaminari is like, it's not really your fault, and even compliments him for being pretty quick on saving them when they were attacked so abruptly by class 1B. It even says that even though he said he didn't want to make friends or anything, he says, dude, I'm rooting for you, I'm a fan of you. So that kind of like motivates Shinso. Like, okay, so I'm glad they added that. Even in the manga, I thought that was great. It almost reminded me of Todoroki in the beginning. As you know, he didn't seem like want to be friends with anyone until Deku opened him up. So the group starts wondering how could they win this. They already lost 2 members, and only class 1B lost 1. So Asui comes with a very clever plan. And honestly, this episode all overall, I loved it because it focused on Asui and Shinso and how well they could work on a team. So Asui's plan is she pulls up her arm and starts excreting like a mucus substance. And as if you recall, during season 1, during the attack at the USJ, Mineta and Deku are wondering what they're gonna do, and Asui explains her quirk, like what it does, and also explains about the secreting like this mucus substance that just stinks a little. And I even love that Deku and Mineta, they're like, hey, does that mean she's using this? I'm kind of glad they remember and even did like a little flashback from season 1. So I thought that was really a nice touch. So Asui also tells Kaminari to look for his pointer. Apparently when Kaminari did an attack unleashes electricity, he was able to put a little device on Shishida, which is a pointer, and thanks to I think her name is Hatsume. There you go, Hatsume. Built like this pointers and also this stuff for Kaminari's glasses, that he'll be able to locate the pointer. This plan is ingenious, even though Kaminari didn't even realize that he was able to get the device on Shishida. So thanks to that and Asui's quick thinking, they're able to form with a clever plan. With the mucus that's being secreted by Asui, she covers the rest of her teammates in it, as she recalls that Shishida, when he's in beast mode, he has an acute sense of smell. So she decides to use this against him. And with the pointer that it's on Shishida, they're gonna be able to know the location of the rest of class 1B. And of course this starts to work. Shishida is confused. He's like, I'm smelling 3 Asuis. And of course Shiosaki, her hero name Fine, I love that they added the hero names for class 1B. She uses an attack called Via Dolorosa, which spreads a lot of her vines throughout the whole area. And this is another plan of Kaminari, and I love that he's kind of able to use his head, like finally, although it sucks that he uses it in moments where they're about to lose. He's like, they're gonna be wary of him, of Kaminari, of him, because of his electricity. And also Shiosaki is able to block his electricity with her vines. So Kaminari has this great idea to be the first capture. So kind of like making class 1B like a sense of like, oh, okay, we took the most troublesome guy, so they kind of be able to relax. So Shiosaki captures Kaminari, but Kaminari also has another plan. Even though he's getting wrapped in the vines, which are almost blocking his electricity, he says that he needs to be at least 10 meters away from his pointer to be able to use his electricity. So the moment he is about to shoot his electricity, Rin sees this problem. He sees a little pointer, and immediately he uses his quirk to remove the pointer before they're struck by the electricity. Honestly, I love the teamwork that they're with class 1B, the plans that they're able to come up at the very last minute. I love that they're adding this. So class 1B, they already have Kaminari, and unfortunately Shiosaki falls victim to Shinsho's brainwashing. And I love that Shinsho it's working pretty well with class 1A despite having not much experience. So Shinsho is hiding within the around the tube, so there's like an echo, so that kind of powers up a little bit his quirk. So unfortunately Shiosaki falls victim to Shinsho's brainwashing. One of the plans that the group had was for Shinsho to kind of hide within the tube, so kind of use like the echo around it. And as you know, once Kaminari got captured, Shiosaki answers a question that someone asked, like, oh, hey, put the shield up, and she answers yes, and of course she falls victim to the brainwashing. Of course the class 1Bs are getting riled up. They're like, oh no, where the hell is Shinsho? They can't even locate him because he's hiding. But of course Shishida starts using his quirk again and tries to locate the person by his smell. So Shishida immediately rushes to find the others. And around this point we see that Shinsho realizes just how much experience he's lacking. He's able to see like, man, he's moving a little too slow, his experience and everything, and I love that they're adding this. One of the things I love about this arc, even though it's honestly my least favorite, but the thing that I love was the little development that they gave Shinsho, and you're gonna see why. And many people are gonna start liking Shinsho. Honestly, he's one of my favorite characters. He's a little underrated in my opinion. Alright, let's get back on track. Shishida immediately rushes to find the others. This is a terrible mistake. Rui is trying to talk to him, but Shishida won't answer. He's pretty afraid of falling victim to Shinsho's brainwashing, and this is the downfall for class 1B. They immediately lose all communication. So once Shiosaki falls victim to the brainwashing, I think I forgot to mention that Asui is able to capture her pretty easily. Then we get to see a pretty interesting fight. It's between Asui and Rin. Of course, Rin could have a great advantage against Asui, but unfortunately he's too distracted. I mean, They already lost Shiosaki, and Shishida is not gonna listen to him because he's afraid of falling victim to the quirk. So at this point, Class 1B already lost. They already lost Shiosaki. There's no communication between them, and he's too distracted and worried about his other teammate to focus on the fight with Asui. So then we jump back to Shishida looking for the others. He deducts that the Asui that's not moving must be Shinso. Eventually, he's able to find them. Shinso tries to use his vocal cords, but it's ineffective. Shishida is like, I'm not gonna take the chances to answer any questions. And then we see Shinso in action. He uses the blinding cloth to wrap it around one of the pipes above and have it fall on Shishida. Unfortunately, it's pretty ineffective. You know that his quirk beast just grants him a lot of strength, so that pipe is not gonna cause him a lot of damage. But honestly, it was cool seeing him use the blinding cloth. He really looks a lot like Eraserhead. Of course, Shishida starts hearing like a voice of his classmate, I think Rin, warning him like to look out. Shishida is like, no, it still must be Shinso trying to brainwash him. But when he hears a pocket beast, he realizes this is not Shinso, it's actually his classmate talking and trying to warn him. And of course, Asui uses Rin to crash him into Shishida. And that's where the fight ends. Asui is able to capture the remaining members of Class 1B, and Class 1A is victorious. So once the first match ends, Asui recalls Shinso saying that he doesn't upsets behind, and he compliments him and telling him like, dude, you're not behind, you're a very strong person. Shinso, he's like, he knows that he has to get even stronger. If he's strong, he has to get way stronger. And once again, we see the biased commentary of Vlad announcing Class 1B's defeat painfully. Well, Class 1A's victory painfully. I love that they added those little details in the manga. Honestly, I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I really loved this episode. It was funny. I love that they added Shinso in this fight. See, shining the light on him. Like, finally, I've been waiting ages for this part of the manga to be animated, seeing Shinso in action. And trust me, Shinso is gonna be, he's gonna have a lot of spotlight. I mean, this episode was not just Shinso that got the spotlight. Asui, we see how much Asui has grown. For her to be able to come up with plans pretty quickly, work as a team, it was fantastic. We also got to see a little bit of Class 1B in action and even showing their quirks. Honestly, that's one of the things I love about this arc, but at the same time, I kind of hate it. You'll see why later on. I really don't feel like spoiling too much. I'd rather do that on my videos with the manga, because I know some people are just anime watchers, and honestly, I really don't feel like spoiling too much what happens in the manga. I'd rather do that there. But overall, a very fantastic episode. I'm really excited for the next match. I believe it's Jajirosu, Tokoyami, Aoyama, Hagakure versus Komori, Kendo, Fukidashi, Kurohiro. I'm pretty excited for the next match. It's gonna be a pretty awesome one. We're gonna see Tokoyami in action, and it's gonna be fantastic. Also, some of my favorite characters from Class 1B, I think is Kurohiro. Honestly, I love his quirk, and I can't wait to see it in action. Honestly, next episode, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna love it. We're gonna see Momo back in action. We're gonna see like what could she do, as you know she's the smartest in class 1A. Then we get to see Kendall. You know, she's the class rep for class 1B, and they consider her as the big sister. You're gonna see that for the next episode, and honestly, it's gonna be a pretty awesome match. I mean, Tokoyami, I better watch myself with my words. I don't really want to spoil too much. Well, maybe some people kind of know what Tokoyami's gonna do if you guys have seen the movie. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope to see you for the next episode for My Hero Academia.